Ghana extremely happy.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not?
In the Ayawaso North constituency, and we have some constituency here to engage with. And I will begin with the man on my left. Eja Pacho, good morning.
Good morning.
Pacho, Makwaba, Eba ABC News Ghana.
Mejemoso.
Pacho, you share Ayawaso North constituency. Constituency, you started here, you created in 2012. You've had parliamentary elections in 2012, 16, and 2020. It's largely dominated by NDC. NDC for winning almost all the 3 seats. Coming to 2024 elections, NPP is presenting a new candidate. Why do you know? NPP, NDC news every.
Well, she said I had a NDC seat. The time be an NDC for the winning. And the time be NPP me no be bano. Me sure say obetimo atuno. If you say NDC for the doors, or might dominate the whole constituency. The NPP for also or no so. The time be an NDC for no akonka constituency no. And he say NPP ni betima awo ni city na yankopon na amana bom. If you say how no NDC stronghold.
Now, also new candidates are NPP for Edebana. Ultimately, NDC in Finukra.
NDC, woman from new neighbor. We are also that I know also. And he may hardly say a bit to my unifiso.
Okay, that's it. Until Pacho, Yama Kwabanso.
Yeah.
Also, it's about Ayawaso North. Also, about Wamato in the last 8 years, especially parliamentary elections. No, because Abuamo and Mwamo.
Media boy, a boy be young man put so near put so over her. What's a boy? Put so your baby, my baby, my
and in the lead up to 2024 elections, you barely 2 months from now to December 7th, over MP now also. Rabomodi, I was maintaining and I was almost ever MPP now or contesting in there.
MP now not so. Men can why you know be brave. Why you know be brave. So you also better no so about dear. You jim. Cause you know be brave. Input so. Mama input so about hapa. No one better no so about dear. Say.
Okay, Ejam Pacho, Mami Samba also. Can also say MPP for being winning, then it will be like a miracle because here is largely dominated by NDC. But in terms of the the impact of vote now, Monyano, Umatu Abama NDC since 2012. Abuamo, ewo imputu, ewo ejumenu, NDC for NDC for parliamentary MPs na manu more constituency one. Abuamo.
Bebe omuame. Me ndi ameka sa ne se. Me NDC MP me hu se oyo mpuntu bia
Ochira jaja onye efe.
Me dey me hu because Rose ni nyama ayo hanu nyina ye district assembly no ene eye ni nyina
say Rose so the district assembly and municipal assembly emojuma MPD olobi but also using jaja or NDC ni currently ni only president wa ban MPP for net so nti say Rose ye be Rose wo eye mo ha e was efa municipal or district assembly no so
district assembly na no we say we rules in near bebre but jaja de me who say why we no cry say meka
who say bibi
me who da me because me tell has me who say jaja we Tembia development be on me 1 year. This is assembly in there.
But also so on why you be big, but still also obey we I didn't know cancer.
Ninti America say how no yet dominated NDC. NDC for the door so papa. Wamono say why bibio on the tramano. So until no one say Jaja why until Jaja why kura on the tramano. That is their belief. Until no one strong NDC seat.
Okay, Pacho, MPP for the Sani Eba constituency Mohau. He's coming to rival Yusuf Jaja. Osha ne Sani ne campaign. Osha ne campaign Senate or area Moha.
Oh, the campaign. Our dom. We young man who didn't let dom not dear. None will say a bit my baby papa. And so am I.
It's my baby papa.
Oh, visually, so the person in my. We are living say a 2 swab answer. Obey my so.
I did some money, I don't know, MPs, or Mabel, especially campaign person. Yatiti, they said, are giving money to market women, giving them loans in the MPs and our candidates now more both. You see Jaja any Sani have they come say or more personal mamu loans in here they mojumo
for me dear it been man so but I know one of my friends them they have the opportunity or mother bomb so they have your dozen you and to the moment the opportunity then they have so I can maybe been man so but I know one of 2 people are more that yeah.
Okay. You are like you are an aged person. You look old and all of that. But it's not to demean you. In terms of help for the aged, MPs now more in terms of help for especially work supporting the aged and even Nkwalana Mohano ejuma ye etisen.
Oh, maybe Matia and she say mwapa de ene me say o mo boya ya yin no enya mo bi amfi o mo she say last week na me say both MPP and NDC o me twetwe ya yin no you dey say o mri mo bi ba and so up to now me mo bi a o mri aba nti ya yin no ha na ya titi anu en fe ni ntu o mo so ko do oni tu o mo so a ubewu abro wonya bibia
na munkola na mo hanso adwuma yetisen
adwuma bia ni o de mankola no soro o nam saa na o makoda o nam saa na o mudidi o makoda MPB ni o wabo ankola no
MPB ankola no. Lastly, before I go, I want to put you on the spot. Come December 7th, or Yusuf Jaja or Ibrahim Sani of the NPP. Why and I'll share so bit maybe.
Hey. For me, no, if Jaja I've not really seen any improvements of him doing something, and also me, I don't wish him to come back again.
We don't wish Yusuf Jaja to come. So it means you are voting for Sani.
Yeah.
You'll be voting for Sani. Before Meja Okwano, why not Otuaba Amano? Jaja.
A free over 30 years, Amatira Ayawa Soha. Metuma back MPP.
Teachers, so we are the Omania, the crowd.
We took MPP, Mojano MPP.
So on now can say NDC for those who are almost say NDC for Nyadi Empire. Mutuma NDC for. I then also say even say MPP for Nyadi crowd also tomorrow.
Oh, maybe MPP no. Idea party no. Niko moche. If you Progress Party, and I'm a PFP, and I'm a MPP. And me old MPP And the MPP now, one make a chair where you know, you did say only Modiba. As up to now, you more be on the Abba. Dear, you know, Hana, and we are paying into almost. God, we need to almost. I blow on the
na munkola na mo hanso adwuma yete sen
adwuma bia no on the man kola no so o nam saa no makoda o nam saa no o didi o makoda MPB no awabo ankola no
MPB mo ankola no. Lastly, before I go, I want to put you on the spot. Come December 7th, or Yusuf Jaja or Ibrahim Sani of the NPP. Why and how shall be to me?
Hey, for me, no, if Jaja, I've not really seen any improvements of him doing something, and also I don't wish him to come back again.
We don't wish Yusuf Jaja to come back. So it means you are voting for Sani.
Yeah,
you be voting for Sani. Before Major Kwano, why not? Otuaba Amano. Jaja.
A free over 30 years, Amatra, Ayawasoha. Metuma back on MPP.
Teachers, so we are the Omania, the crowd.
We took on MPP, Majano MPP.
So on now can say NDC for those who are almost say NDC for Nyadi Empire. Mutuma NDC for. I don't also say even say MPP for Nyadi crowd also tomorrow.
Oh, maybe MPP no. Idea party no. Niko moche. If you Progress Party, and I'm about PFP, and I'm about MPP. And me old MPP ni. And the MPP na akọ moja mu. Bibia no betima sesame akọ party foforo mu.
Then MPP no be sata.
MPP no na mekom.
Right. So these are the voices of some electorate within the Ayawaso North constituency of the Greater Accra region, giving us their view, their overview of the two prime candidates in the contest for the parliamentary seats of this constituency. We have Yusuf Jaja of the NDC, who is the incumbent MP for the area, as against Ibrahim Sani of the NPP, who is from the New Patriotic Party, the incumbent party as it stands now, but they don't have the seat in this constituency. NPP has not won the seat in this constituency since it was created in 2012, but they were looking forward to amassing the vote here and perhaps clinching the seats come December 7th. I am Samuel Nyamabo from the Ayawaso North constituency. Bye. We are.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, #1 on the ballot.
In 2017, the NPP inherited a fragmented digital infrastructure that limited public service efficiency. Since then, we've revolutionized how services are delivered with the Ghana card and mobile money interoperability, enhancing speed and accessibility. Our efforts have greatly improved government interactions, making life easier for every Ghanaian. However, our vision doesn't stop here. We aim to further expand and modernize Ghana's digital landscape. The journey towards a fully integrated digital society continues. Stand with us.
In 2017, the NPP inherited an infrastructure network in need of renewal. we've since focused on building modern, resilient infrastructure, expanding roads, railways, and housing through strong partnerships with the private sector. As we enter the next chapter, a revitalized public works department will lead maintenance, with local governments enhancing district roads. We are committed to expanding railways and upgrading airports to connect Ghana for a stronger future. While much has been achieved, there's still more to do. Vote for Bawumia. Bawumia means business. Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing healthcare protection.
ABCN, The Morning Live on ABC News GH, and we are on YouTube, ABC News GH. That is the channel. Interact with us via our socials at ABC News GH _. Today on Business Fix, we want to speak with you. We are bringing the conversations to you in your homes. So you should call us on 059-161-609. 059-161-609. Business Fix is up next. This is Business Fix. Today we are asking a question, a very simple question. Do you save? This is the last Friday of the month, and we know that within this period it is payday, and a lot of people are looking forward to receiving their salaries and all. There are so many ways that we've been told to categorize our salaries, the monies we receive. Some will say that when you spend 50% on your needs, you save 10%, you save 20% and all. But the question is, are you able to save? Are you able to save? Is your money enough to save? So we want to hear from you on how you structure your financial life. When we're kids, and we used to get these small boxes called Tusu box. Those who were DBs, as we would call them, had piggy banks, and you'd put the little money you had in your 1 CD, your 2 CD, your coins into it. Some parents even used to save in their boxes. All of these were ways to look at your financial life in any small way. We all make budget decisions, and our budget decisions determine how we are going to spend, especially on a weekend when you know that this is the money you have. In the next week, you want to spend this amount of money throughout the week. Weekends like this, when it is salary week, and you know that you have fees to pay, you have rent to pay here and there, you have your pantry or your kitchen to stock, you look at your money and you budget. Do you save a portion of your pay? Do you do that? What influences your saving decisions? Where do you save your money? Are you a person who sends your money to the bank? Do you belong to the group of people who still believe that putting your money under your pillow is the best option? Do you belong to those who like to put their money in susu boxes? How much do you even save? Out of the amount of money you receive, how much do you save? And do you even make enough to give you the opportunity to adequately save? The money you receive, is it enough to meet your basic needs? After you have paid for your water bill, your lights bill, you have bought food for your kitchen, you've taken care of this small thing, is there even enough left for you to save? Or do you only save when you have a major event coming up? There are people who will save when there's a wedding coming up, people who will save when there's a funeral coming up, another who will save when there's a graduation coming up. Some people save only for major events. We want to understand how you structure your financial life, and if it has been helpful for you so far, you can call us on 059-161-609, 059-161-609, and share with us how you structure your financial life, and it may help somebody to also understand how to save. Some people will say that no matter the amount of money they receive, they can never save. Some also have said that savings is a luxury, actually. Until you have taken care of all your basic needs, you can't say that you are saving. How are you saving when there's no food in the home? So different people with different thoughts on how they think savings is and why they save. Those who also ask themselves why they do not save. All of these are the conversations we are having. The ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal finance management, budgeting, and investment. Do you budget? Do you manage your finances? Do you invest? All of these are the questions we are asking today. You look at your saving pattern. Some people will save, say, 20% of their salary. Some will save 5%. Some will save 1%. Some people go by the 50-20-30 savings rule. So 50-20-30 savings rule will say that you spend 50% of your money on your needs and your obligations and on what you must do. The remaining 20% goes into your savings, and the 30% goes on the things you want to enjoy. For some people, they go by that rule, the 50-20-30% rule. When they receive their salary or their monies, 50% will go on the needs, the things they need, the things that you cannot do away with. You pay your bills. Those are necessities. For others, the 20% out of the 50% left goes into their savings. Well, we have a call on the line. Let's speak with them. Hello, good morning.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Nana. I'm calling from Tesano.
Okay, hello, Nana.
Hello, hi.
Do you save?
Yes, please, I do. I do save.
How do you save? Do you have a formula by which you save? There is a 50-20-30 formula where your 50 is for your needs, your 20 is for savings, and 30 is for having fun or on the things that you don't necessarily need.
Mine is rather the opposite. My 50 is for the savings. The 20 is for spending on things that I think I need, and then the 30 is for quick expenses and basic needs that I want to purchase and spend on.
Quick expenses. You're able to save 50% of your salary?
Yes.
Then you must be making a lot of money.
No, I'm doing fairly okay. I can't complain.
You can't complain. And where do you save your money? Do you belong to the school of thought that saves their monies with the bank, or do you save in your Susu box, or do you join a Susu group? There are people who join Susu groups to save. How do you save?
Yes, but me in particular, I think saving in the bank is the best approach. That way, you are able to properly control and assess how you go about your own expenses, and also which money is going in and which money is going out. So I think saving in the bank is the best way to go.
Okay. Thank you, Nana.
You're welcome.
Nana says that saving in the bank is the way to go. He saves 50% of his salary and he uses the rest to take care of his needs and the other things that he wants to do. So you can call us on 059-161-609. Share with us how you save. Do you save in the bank? Do you trust your banks enough to save with them? Do you save in your Susu box at the end of the month or the end of the year? You break the Susu box, pour the money out and count the amount of money you've saved. Or do you save with the Susu group? There has been a very uprise of Susu savings. But we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I am King Aluta, the junior brother of King Paluta from Jinyase.
King what?
King Aluta, the junior brother of King Paluta from Jinyase.
King Aluta, do you save?
Well, I don't really save because the money, by the time the month reach, the money is gone.
By the time the money reaches, the money is gone.
Yeah, because the month, you see, the month is too long and the money is not enough. Even when you split it per day, how much you will spend, it doesn't even cross the 20th.
So the money is too small to save, eh?
Yeah.
So how are you surviving?
Okay, so after 20th going, we have to be relying on colleagues and other people to survive. And when salaries drop, you have to go and pay the debt, the people that you borrowed from.
Okay, so that's how you are surviving.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll most definitely speak with an expert who will help us to save. King Aluta, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Well, so that's King Aluta. He says he's the junior brother of King Paluta. Very interesting persons. Well, so you can call us 059-161-609. You see, with what our second caller said, his money is not enough, so he's unable to save. And he says that because he is unable to save, it means that when the money is exhausted, he will have to rely on colleagues and other friends to borrow, so that when his money comes or he receives his money, he will offset the debt he owes. So this means that it is a cycle. If you don't find a way, it will become a cycle. Let's take our last call for the day. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Laurentia.
Hello, Laurentia. Where are you calling from?
From Teshin.
Hello, Laurentia. Do you save?
Yes, please.
And how much do you save?
I save 2 CDs, 1 CD.
2 CDs and 1 CD. So which kind of formula is that, Laurentia?
At Susu Boss, the way you do every day, maybe 10 CDs, 5 CDs, on 3 months you get more than 5 million, 6 million.
So do you take the money to the bank or you save in a Susu box?
I save it in the Susu Boss.
And how sure are you that it is a safe place to save your money, Laurentia?
It is a safe place because I do some Susu at some people. They come and collect our money every day. At the end of the month, they said the shop has collapsed. So I like the Susu Boss more than I'll go and save at the bank.
Okay. So that is how you save?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Laurentia.
Thank you, too. You're welcome.
So Laurentia belongs to the group that saves in a Susu box. In our subsequent conversations, we will speak with a financial literacy expert who can take us through how to effectively manage our finances, no matter how small it is, so that at least we can have some monies on us. So today we're looking at savings, how you save your money, how you save your money, where do you put your money, do you believe in saving in the bank? So, unfortunately, Laurentia would rather save in her Susu box than to take her money to the bank, because she says that to take her money to any other place, she has saved with, she is saying that she's relied on that because she's been unfortunate with another group. She saved with them, and at the end of the month, she was told the financial institution had collapsed and she lost her money. This means that it wasn't a credible institution. We'll look at all of these and how we can better equip ourselves or ward those people away from us. But it is very necessary that you find a good financial institution to save with. Some people have been very reluctant to go because they don't think they get any match on the monies they save in the bank. They say that the returns on it, the interest on it is very minimal, almost negligible. So they would rather save at home than to take it to the bank. So our conversation today is on do you save. This is not the end of the conversation. Entering into the week, we will bring more and more on this and speak with experts who will help us structure our lives better. We'll open the phone lines another time for you to call. Let us know how you save, especially because you are receiving your pay this week or next week. This is all for Business Fix today on ABC in the morning. Do you save? ABC in the morning live on ABC News G. Let's get straight into our main discussion for today. We are looking at the 8th Parliament. We brought you conversations about this Parliament over and over again, especially from last week into this week. The Parliament has been an interesting one, so much happening from there. But we are looking at the Parliament and finding out if this 8th Parliament has been a blessing or a bane. Since establishment of Ghana's 4th Republic in 1992, the country's parliament has traditionally been dominated by the ruling party. However, this dynamic shifted in 2020 when, for the first time in Ghana's history, the two major political parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, secured an equal number of parliamentary seats, one seat going to an independent candidate. So out of 275 seats, they split the seats, and that one outstanding seat went to an independent candidate. In this unprecedented split in parliament, neither the NPP nor the NDC held a clear majority in parliament. The independent candidate, who previously held the seat on behalf of the NPP, pledged his support to his former party, giving the ruling NPP a fragile advantage over the NDC. This new parliamentary balance sparked hopes among Ghanaians that the legislature would be better positioned to counter the executive branch's traditionally strong grip on power, limiting questionable appointments, contracts, and policies. The election of a speaker from the opposition NDC, a first time in Ghana's history, boasted this belief. And in addition, key parliamentary appointees, key parliamentary committees such as the Appointments and Business Committees were equally divided between members of the ruling and opposition parties. This was seen as a victory for the minority, with assurances given to the public that the executive would no longer enjoy unchecked authority in the legislative process. However, after almost 4 years of this sharply divided parliament, these aspirations appear largely unfulfilled. While there have been instances where Parliament has resisted the executive's influence, such as the rejection of certain loan requests on grounds of accountability, unsustainable debt, or lack of quorum, these moments have been quite rare. There have been some 10 key moments of this 8th Parliament to assess whether they have lived up to expectation or not. Let's look at these 10 key moments of this 8th Parliament. And when we look at these key moments, we can assess whether it's been successful or not. 1. The vetting and approval of ministers for the second term of the Akufo-Addo government. 2. Debate and probe into COVID-19 expenditure and the contracts awarded. 3. The introduction and passage of the electronic transaction levy, the e-levy, in the 2022 budget. 4. Attempt to remove MPs who miss more than the constitutionally mandated 15 parliamentary sittings without permission in 2022. And Ghana's return to the IMF in 2022. So these are amongst some of the 10 key moments in Parliament. These are part of the 10 key moments in Parliament, and we are looking at all of these to see whether the Parliament has been a blessing or a bane, whether Parliament has been a blessing or a bane. And one of the early setbacks that occurred during the vetting of ministers for President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for his second term, which started in 2021, was the vetting of his ministers. Although minority members of the vetting committee initially opposed several ministerial nominees, citing poor performance and the need for further scrutiny of these ministers, the plenary eventually approved all the contested nominees after some minority MPs broke ranks and voted in favor of the government. So although they raised concerns, at the end of the day, they voted for them. At the end of the day, they did vote for them. One very significant thing that we also saw with this Parliament was the passage of the e-levy. The passage of the e-levy. Many have said that it was a significant failure of this Parliament. Looking at the lines by which the Parliament was divided, we shouldn't have seen this issue. And the controversial e-levy in the 2022 budget, which proposed the 1.75% tax on electronic transactions exceeding 100 cedis. When this was stated, a lot of concerns were raised. Many Ghanaians were uncomfortable, unhappy about this 1.75% tax on transactions, despite widespread opposition from the minority in parliament, which also boosted civil society's vocal disapproval. Opposition were against it, civil society was also against it. We were unable to block the bill. The e-levy was ultimately passed, and this move was viewed by many as a capitulation to the executive pressure and undermining public confidence in Parliament's ability to act as an effective counterbalance to government's power. Many had expected that because Parliament was divided equally, this levy shouldn't have been passed. However, it was passed. In an unprecedented move for Ghana's Fourth Republic, the 2022 budget was initially rejected by Parliament. However, this landmark decision was short-lived, as the majority later overturned the rejection and approved the budget, including this highly controversial electronic transaction levy, e-levy. The minority staged a walkout in protest, resulting in a reduction of the levy from 1.75% to 1.5%, a rate that has since been revised to 1%. This walkout, however, drew sharp criticism from the public, who had expected the opposition NDC to leverage its parliamentary strength to block the levy altogether. Many felt the minority abandoned the fight too early. Many people felt that the minority NDC had abandoned the fight too early. Another area in all of these is the disillusionment around Parliament's continued failure to address absenteeism, which remains a chronic problem in Ghana's multi-party democracy. Many members of Parliament are either consistently absent or arrive late, with the average MP missing 1 out of every 4 sittings. Some have missed as many as 3 out of 4 sessions. And although the Constitution mandates the removal of MPs who miss more than 15 sittings without permission, no meaningful action has been taken. Efforts to invoke Parliament standing orders to declare absentee seats vacant were referred to the Privileges Committee, but despite the Speaker's directive that the committee reports be debated by the plenary, no decision has been reached. These are some of the points that have happened in Parliament that have raised questions on whether this Parliament has been a bane rather than a blessing. Let's speak with Clement Akolo. He is the Communications Officer for Parliamentary Network Affairs, or Parliamentary Network Africa. Good morning, Clement. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Many people have raised concerns about this 8th Parliament, where some say the Parliament has been a blessing, others have vehemently said that this Parliament has been a bane, and we should not have a Parliament like this ever again in our history as Ghana. Would you describe this kind of legislative work we have witnessed in the 8th Parliament, especially with the near equal numbers? How will you describe this Parliament?
All right, thank you very much. I would tend to agree with those who think that this Parliament has rather been a blessing in disguise. We don't, we at the Parliamentary Network Africa do not think that this 8th Parliament or the near-hang Parliament has been a bane to our parliamentary democracy. Rather, on the contrary, this near-hang Parliament has brought so many things to the fore that hitherto everybody was actually not paying attention to. And just to mention a few of the benefits of this parliament, we can say that this parliament, because of the nearness of the numbers, has brought a lot of consensus building. Actually, that's what it calls on our politicians and our leaders in parliament to do. That at every point in time, there's a need for them to learn how to build consensus on issues. And that's why parliament is there in the first place. And that's why we have separation of powers, so that they can check on each other. But until the 8th parliament, you realize that the previous parliament, because the government of the day almost always got a working majority or an absolute majority, they actually did not pay attention to the consensus building aspect of it, and most of the time our parliament was referred to as a rubber stamp parliament, because anything that came from the executive to parliament was just pushed through. And this 8th parliament again has brought a lot of scrutiny, increased scrutiny to the bills and the request for funding and all those things into parliament. So when any bill is coming from the government side, it has to pass muster a reason why a bill must go through, a reason why a certain request for funding must go through, a certain loan request must go through. It goes through a very rigorous scrutiny, and that is something that we think that is in the positive, because we don't want to be in a country where anything at all goes through without being subjected to critical reasoning and thinking and opinions. So we think that these are some of the things that the 8th parliament and the near-hand nature of it has brought on board. We could also attest to the fact that when it came to the approval of ministerial nominees, same scrutiny was attached to it, that because both parties in the House knew that they were close and the numbers could flip from any angle, there was a lot of scrutiny and debate that was brought to the fore when it came to the approval of the nominees of the president. And we think that should we have an opportunity again, this kind of situation where it always puts the players on the field on their toes, and in this case it's not only the minority or the majority, it is both sides, because at any time you lose any of your members from not coming to parliament or for not paying attention to what is going on, it means that whatever advocacy or whatever opinion you are championing, you could suffer a negative fate. And we are hoping, or some of us are thinking, that we should take these lessons very seriously, and perhaps we should start thinking about how we will sustain something like this, and in the distribution of seats in parliament, we will find a way of fashioning out a system that does not give absolute majority to one political party or a governing party, so that at every point in time we'll have consensus on issues before bringing it on the floor of parliament, or before it gets passed on the floor of parliament. And we are also emphasizing this because some people who think that the 8th parliament has been destructive is because in the past the two main political parties have enjoyed that kind of majority in parliament, so they are finding it a bit uncomfortable at this time because they cannot have their way. But we don't think that we want to live in a country where anything that anybody thinks about or a government thinks about should just go through parliament without the level of scrutiny that it deserves.
Clement, you say that the 8th Parliament has been a blessing in disguise because it has brought on a lot more consensus building. What will be the key lessons to take away from this almost hung Parliament? This Parliament which seems to be a once-in-a-lifetime kind of Parliament. The dynamics have been very distinct. What would you say will be the key lessons we should be taking away from this Parliament?
Yeah, the key lessons which we have not learnt yet, and I think that it's unfortunate that we are coming to the end of this Parliament and the status quo still remains. And this opportunity that we should have learnt a lot of things from is going away with still the lessons unlearned. One of the major lessons we should have learnt from this Parliament is how to build consensus on issues. Is how our political representative will learn how to put the national interest first, because this is calling on us to ensure and to know that there are certain things that are of national nature that are unnegotiable, that we cannot do politics with. And there are certain things that, yes, you can play your politics with, because at the end of the day, still politics must play, and there should be just stealing of power. But there are some things that we cannot negotiate with, like our health, our let's say our environment, water bodies, and how we treat certain things, our education and all those things. This should tell us that there are certain things that we cannot play with. And unfortunately, we are not learning those lessons. But the lesson to be learned here is that no matter what the issue is, we must know that the people are watching us. They are very rational people, and they are kind of reading through everything that we do on the floor of Parliament. And I am sure that by the time we go for the election and we return, we will learn that this 8th Parliament has done a lot to bring national attention to Parliament. Because if it had not been for some of the issues and tensions that have been experienced in Parliament, a lot of people didn't know about what the Parliament does and what actually goes on in Parliament. This has raised the consciousness of the public about what Parliament is and what ought to be done in Parliament. And therefore, we should learn from here that we are not a sacrosanct kind of group, or a people that are untouchable, or we are unrelated to national issues. That national issues actually are on the plate of Parliament, and Parliament must cease from behaving the way it does sometimes, where it appears that the will of the political parties come or become more important than the will of the sovereign people who actually elected the people to be in Parliament.
Who, in your perspective, be the best of this Parliament and also the worst of this Parliament?
The best of this Parliament, for me, will be that so far, the election of a member or a speaker that is not from the governing party, and that has brought a lot of I think it's uncomfortable for people that is from the governing side, but I think that it is very healthy for national development and for the people, because it has allowed a lot of governance issues to become clear to people. The worst of it is the kind of tensions and the near fisticuffs that we saw at the beginning of the lifetime of this parliament, where at the election of the new speaker. And I should add to the positive that if it had not been for a whip system in parliament, the member of parliament, if he is left on his own and to be independent on its own, would have made more rational choices that were near to the benefit of his constituents. But for the whip system, I'm saying this based on the election of the speaker, where you could see that some people from the other side had to join the other side to be able to elect a speaker with the numbers that we had. And then when it came to the approval of some of the ministers, we also saw that some MPs from the other side had to move to join the other side to be able to approve some of the ministers, even though they don't belong to the same political party. And I'm saying that that is the beauty of it, that if the people were allowed to do rational choices of what situations are in the country, we would have a better governance system than what we have now, that is strictly controlled by the selfish interests of these political parties that have taken the politics of the day to ransom.
Will you say Ghana's chance to deepen its parliamentary democracy in this hung parliament has gone wasted?
No, I don't think it has gone wasted. But the caution we were sounding, even in our statement, was that we are not learning the lessons, but we believe that the lessons will be learned after we have exhausted this 8th parliament. Because for now, because we are still standing in it, and because we also like to do firefighting, a lot of the reflection that we should be having about what is ongoing in Parliament is not really seeing its full benefit as at now. And even outside from Parliament, those who are the governance watchers, the parliamentary watchers, and all those people have also some introspection and reflection to do, that this 8th parliament has come to challenge all of us to think outside the box, that there are other possibilities at every time, and that the status quo cannot remain, and therefore we must revise our books and ensure that we are ready at all times to ensure that our parliamentary democracy goes forward. And it's very, very iconic that on the 30th anniversary of the practice of this parliamentary democracy, or our democracy from 1992, we are seeing some of this very challenging or very unique aspect of our democratic dispensation coming up. And it should be a clarion call for us to ensure that we set the good precedent that will ensure that the next 30 years will be better than what we are seeing now.
Then so that in the next 30 years, Parliament will be better than it is now. Thank you, Clement, for this discussion with us on this 8th Parliament. We are grateful for your time.
Thank you very much.
Clement Akolo is the Communications Officer for Parliamentary Network Africa. He says that this 8th Parliament has been a blessing in disguise. It has brought on more consensus building. He says that moving forward, we should leverage on this and build more consensus on it. He's also said that because of how the Parliament has been, a lot of Ghanaians have been more interested in the Parliament, and because of that, there has been scrutiny of this Parliament. He says that the status quo must not remain. We should look at going beyond that. And Parliament has celebrated its 30th anniversary. Moving forward, we should build a better precedent so that in the next 30 years, our Parliament will be a better Parliament than it is now. And we should be able to look back and maybe say that this Parliament created a better precedent for it to build upon. Well, we'll see how the Parliament ends. It hasn't ended yet. They still have some time to go. And anything can happen within this period, and we are hoping for more positive news from Parliament. That's all for this discussion. Moving on into our next discussion, it is still about Parliament. 3 NDC MPs have put together a private members bill to revoke LI 2462. So 3 NDC MPs private members bill to revoke LI 2462, and these MPs have initiated a private members bill aimed at repealing Section 3 Clause 2 of the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Regulations 2022, which is the LI 2462. The LI grants the President authority to issue mining leases for exploration within forest reserves in Ghana. And the trio are Tamale North MP Al-Hassan Suhini, Madina MP Francis Javier Sosu, and North Tongue MP Samuel Okujetua Blakwa. They have initiated a private members bill to this effect. The lawmakers submitted the bill in a formal memo to the Clerk of Parliament on Tuesday, October 22, in the wake of the indefinite suspension of the House. They noted that this regulation has resulted in significant environmental degradation along with adverse health and economic and social consequences. The MPs are therefore of the view that they bear a greater responsibility to ensure the right of Ghanaians to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. They emphasized that their duty includes holding the executive in check and crafting laws and policies that protect public health, ecosystems, and the environment. The government had earlier announced plans to present an LI to Parliament following a public outcry and demands by organized labor to have this LI revoked or repealed. Portions of the memo of the bill read, hence, it is in view of the above and considering that Parliament passed this all-important and consequential LI 2462, which among others grants His Excellency the President the authority to issue mining leases for exploration in forest reserves, the impact of which brought so much environmental degradation as well as health, economic devastation. So this bill, this private members bill, seeks to repeal Section 3, Clause 2 of the Environmental Protection Regulations 2024 LI 242, which grants the President the authority to issue mining leases for exploration in forest reserves in Ghana. And we have spoken about this over and over and over again, but this is the new development from that. Let's speak with Awula Sewa. She is the Executive Director for Eco-Conscious Citizens. We spoke with her earlier on this, and since there is a new development, it's just right to speak with her again. Good morning, Awula. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning to you and all listeners. Thank you for having me.
Finally, some MPs have taken steps to have this LI revoked. How refreshing is it for CSOs who have been canvassing for this, and how quickly do you want Parliament to take up this proposed bill?
Well, this should be of interest to all Ghanaians, not just the CSO, because Ghana being poisoned, it's affecting each and every Ghanaian. LI 2462 was a perverse piece of legislation, as we all know, allowing for mining in globally significant biodiversity areas, contrary to common sense. This is something that was passed. Now, there was a grand deception where organized labor was told that it was going to be revoked, and on the basis of that, the strike was suspended. We know that this was not the case. LI 2462 was not laid before Parliament as promised, and that is why these 3 MPs are taking on the private members' bill. Yes, we hope that it will be expedited and Parliament will be recalled, and this piece of legislation will go through so that LI 2462 is repealed. We want all licenses that were granted to mine in forest reserves to be revoked. We're also asking for a state of emergency. We need the state of emergency to go to the forest reserves, get out all miners and their equipment, and the same with the water bodies, but to do it in a sustained, intelligent manner. So that's not a question of going there one day where the miners have advance notice, they disappear, we hang around idly for a few minutes, go away, and then they come back. That's not what we are talking about. We have the intelligence, we have professionals who know what to do. Leave it with them, no political interference, and believe me, we can get rid of this illegal mining. We haven't been able to do so because the political will isn't there.
When we spoke with you 2 days ago, you said that Parliament's suspension is a red herring and that the LI can still be repealed. Beyond all of that, 3 MPs have taken this up upon themselves to initiate a private members' bill so that the law is repealed. Following this, how much are you going to follow this so that it happens? Have you gotten in touch with the MPs? Since you are very much eco-conscious citizens, are so much into this and want the bill to be repealed, are you going to get in touch with these MPs, follow up, and make sure that the bill is repealed as we are all looking for it to be?
Well, we have been reliably informed. And yes, we know that this bill has been, they've taken on this bill. But what I said the last time we met was that the idea that just because Parliament had been suspended, the LI couldn't be revoked was a red herring, because at that time, the LI had not even been put before Parliament. So it didn't really make much of a difference. But there are other avenues that can be used if we really want this bill repealed, even outside of Parliament. It can be explored. For example, eco-conscious citizens and other Arocha Ghana, CASAS, so many other organizations have taken the government to court regarding LI 2462. Now, if the Attorney General has now admitted that this is a perverse piece of legislation, then the court action should not take too long, because all the Attorney General has to do is to agree that yes, this piece of legislation should be repealed, and it's null and void because it did not even go through the right process it should have gone through, and the court can declare it null and void, and therefore won't be having this conversation. LI 2462 would have been repealed. So what we are saying is that if we really want to not just go through a gimmick, but to actually repeal this piece of legislation, it can be done inside and outside of Parliament, and we are confident that it will be done. But we're also insisting on a state of emergency being declared, because that is critical if we really want to remove the miners from our forest reserves and our water bodies. Water is life. As I speak, our water is being poisoned. Ghana water does not remove the poisons, so we don't know what we are drinking. The fact that the color is transparent doesn't mean that it's safe to drink. So we all are facing the existential threat, not just the CSOs, every single Ghanaian. So Ghanaians must understand what is going on and stop having allegiance to party. Our allegiance should be to Ghana, Ghana first.
Aula, would you say that you are disappointed with government's approach to revoking this bill?
Well, I'll say that Ghana government is more focused on votes than on the welfare and well-being of Ghanaians. When the president put his presidency on the line 7 years ago, it's because he had come to the realization of how terrible things were. And I believe at that time he really wanted to do something about it. When he saw how this reflected in votes, he decided that it wasn't going to happen any longer. You see, when you put your presidency on the line, what you are saying is that come what be, God be my helper, I will do what is right. But when at the first hurdle you decide to jump ship, then were you very serious to start with? So no, I don't think government is very concerned about the welfare of the people. You have some ministers saying that, oh, after the elections, we'll deal with this matter. So what you are telling Ghanaians is that continue being poisoned for the rest of October, for the whole of November, for the whole of December, for parts of January. Continue being at the risk of kidney disease, cancer, neurological challenges, stillbirth, maternal deaths. It doesn't really matter. The elections are more important. So you can see the kind of leaders we have. But it's not limited to the present administration. So what Ghanaians need to do is realize that it's not a question of building cathedrals. What is important is where our allegiance is. If we really believe in God, would we put votes before the welfare of Ghanaians? How is that loving your neighbor as yourself? So what we are saying is that all political parties should come to sign a declaration that they are for the state of emergency. They are an agreement that all these mining licenses granted in forest reserves should be revoked. They are an agreement that there should be a pause on small-scale mining until we get our act together and ensure that they are all going in accordance with their licenses. And then we should seriously look at Professor Frimpong Boateng's report so that those who were named should be prosecuted so that we know that we are not a respecter of persons. And also, finally, the reclamation should begin. But it can't be done without the state of emergency. We need the place clear of the miners. And we should use the polluter pays policy, meaning that all those who are contributed to the poisoning of our environment should be charged. When they are prosecuted and found guilty, their assets should be seized and sold and used towards the cost of reclamation.
Commended UTAG for being the conscience of the nation by standing their grounds on the strike against Galamsey. Yesterday, UTAG has released a statement that they will be suspending their strike based on the vote that their members vote. If their members vote for the suspension, they will suspend it. If they vote against, then they will not suspend it. Are you disappointed that UTAG, the National Executive Committee of UTAG, has tabled this before their members to suspend the strike?
Well, what I would say is that after organized labor bailed out, their options became pretty limited. And the authorities, instead of looking at the problem, spend their time in divide and rule, spend their time in threats, spend their time trying to sponsor splinter groups who come and say all sorts of things. So UTAG has taken the position it has. If I say I'm not disappointed, I'll not be telling the truth. I am disappointed. But as you yourself said, they're a democratic organization. It's for their members to vote. If their members vote to continue the strike will continue. Instead of using their energies to see to the welfare of Ghanaians by declaring a state of emergency, repealing LI 2462, efforts are being used to undermine, first of all, organized labor, and then now UTAG, threats and so on and so forth. But UTAG has taken the position it has taken. They are a democratic organization. It all will depend on their members. If their members want to suspend the strike and nobody is going to stand apart from the CSOs so that we can continue being poisoned, then so be it. But Ghanaians should realize that it's their health, it's their future that's involved. It's not the future of just the CSOs, because we are Ghanaians. Everybody living in Ghana, whether you're a Ghanaian or not, you are being affected by the existential threat we face. The ecocide is real. The water, you cannot be sure of how safe it is. The food you are consuming could be poisoned. So it's up to Ghanaians to do the right thing. And the right thing will be for the members to vote with wisdom as to whether or not the strike is being suspended. Because UTAG, as I understand it, will respect the votes of its members.
Thank you for speaking with us, Awula.
Thank you for having me.
Aula Sewa is the Executive Director for Eco-Conscious Citizens, and this conversation, 3 NDC MPs have initiated a private members bill to revoke LI 2462. Some MPs, they have taken steps to revoke the LI 2462. Is it refreshing? Is it refreshing for CSOs? Is it refreshing for you as a Ghanaian? Let's hear from you. Let us know if you are happy that 3 members of parliament are initiating a private members bill to revoke LI 2462. Let's hear your thoughts on this, on UTAG suspension of the strike, on this 8th parliament. What do you think of this 8th parliament? Let me ask you that. What do you think of the 8th parliament? Has it served any purpose? Yesterday, we hit the streets, we brought you what some Ghanaians thought. We didn't get to your place, so we couldn't get your thoughts. But the lines are open, 059-161-609, 059-161-609. Call us, let's hear your thoughts about this issue. Are you happy with this parliament? Has this parliament served any purpose? Also, are you happy that 3 NDC MPs have initiated the private members bill to revoke LI 2462? If this is revoked, people will not be granted mining permits to be mining on our water bodies in and around our forest reserves and all. Let us know what you think about it. We are looking forward to hearing from you. 059-161-609, 059-161-609. As Aula Sewa has said, she says that if all groups are going to stand down, CSOs are going to continue to stand for this. However, Ghanaians should remember that it is our lives that are at stake. It is an ecocide. LI 2462 is a perverse piece of legislature, and for civil society organizations, they are looking forward to the revocation of it. And she's always maintained that we shouldn't be blinded by greed. People are making money out of Galamsey. That is why it is quite difficult to stop it. But we shouldn't be blinded by greed so much so that our lives are on the line. And she says that we must reclaim the lands. You can't reclaim the lands if you do not put a pause or a halt on the activities. And for those who are spoiling the land, when we grab them, we should go by the... Yes, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Okay, your friend was saying, Udin is saying,
Akwasi Usu Pachokasa. Me Pacha, that was a fan, Papa, me too, Pana, Brafundi, and now the air can say, you say the airport for a parliamentary party and Yakra, say, it's a Unam Kumka, won't the family as a big or I won't come on about food. Oh, I don't know, it will be near the Bedia, most of the end. Oh, to the other judges, and say, yes, some. Come on, I really have maybe it says they wouldn't say a quarter was to say, you get a wumpa, I could have you. I could have been a movie or Monamasa Butabita, a fire, over here, Abasui. Nipa bad 2 pennies from Mujimadi. The dear was a judge and your money, over here about your money into the Africa when you have family. Ghana,
Akwesi says that there's no trust in the judiciary at the moment. He says that what is happening in Parliament is causing a lot of people to stand in pockets discussing the issue. And however, Ghanaians don't really trust the judiciary at the moment. The judges should take a look at their system again. Have your say on the topics we have discussed today. 3 MPs have initiated a private members bill to revoke LI 2462. The National Executive Committee for UTAG are calling for a suspension of their strike. Also, we are asking if this parliament has been a good parliament. And earlier, we asked you how you save. Hello, we have another caller. Your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Apiakubi.
Pardon?
Mr. Apiakubi.
Mr. Apiakubi. Where are you calling from?
From Gosu.
Gosu, please have your
Yes.
say.
My concern is what is happening at the parliament today. As a matter of fact, we should consider that at least, even if the members are suspended, can there be any form of a by-election? There cannot be any form of by-elections. And for that reason alone, they should be allowed to hold on and continue with their work. Because if their appointments are terminated today, there must be some form of replacement so that their constituencies will also be replaced. But since there isn't any way of replacing them by way of by-elections because of the upcoming elections, why don't you allow them to hold on for their constituencies? Okay. In fact, it's too bad. We should be very careful with what is happening.
Thank you, Mr. Apiakubi. Okay. He says we should be very careful with what is happening in Parliament. You can also have your say on 059-161-609, 059-161-609, and we'll be glad to hear from you. You can also connect with us via our socials at ABC News GH _ at ABC News GH _ UTAG is calling for a suspension of their strike. They're waiting on their members to vote either in favor or not to call off the strike. 3 NDC MPs have initiated a private members bill to revoke LI 2462 and LI 2462, and also we are looking at Parliament. Has this 8th Parliament served its purpose? Has it been a blessing or a bane? You can speak on 059-161-609. Like we're saying, these MPs have taken the steps. Al-Hassan Suhini, Javier Sosu, and Okujeto Ablakwa. They've initiated a private members bill to revoke LI 2462. Our last hour of eco-conscious citizens has said that this LI is a perverse piece of legislature. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your listeners. I'm Bible. I'm reaching you from Tamale, an area called United Kingdom of Nantong Paumo.
Bible, please go on.
Yeah, you see, this our parliament, we have been saying it. Bagbin will be the worst speaker of parliament we ever have in Ghana here. Because if you look at the mindset of the NDC, they don't have anything better for Mother Ghana. They are just there to just frustrate this government, to just let this government go on their knees. But we are telling them that, look, Ghanaians did not vote for them. Ghanaians have rejected them. Ghanaians have rejected their message. Ghanaians have rejected their manifesto. That is why they are doing all these things. Because His Excellency Bawumia, anywhere at all he goes, he tells the people of Ghana what he's going to do. They have voted for you people. What even pains me is that my MP is even part of it, Al-Hassan Suhini. That is Tamale North constituency. And such a person, you want to go back to parliament and do what? So what I'm telling Ghanaians and MPP is that look at what is happening. It is teaching us a lesson. Let us not do mistake and say we are voting for skirt and blouse again. No, never again. Because Ghana is never ready for this thing. And I'm telling supporters that look, me the one calling you. I've been in MPP for how many years today? I'm still
Bible, thank you.
Say that I've not gotten anything, so let me go and vote against my government. No, so let us all vote for the MPP so that His Excellency Bawumia.
Thank you, Bible. Bible from Tamale. That's also his thoughts on it. Well, thank you for speaking with us today. We will be opening the phone lines in our subsequent conversation so that you have your say. We will open the phone lines before in our subsequent conversation so that you can. Well, we have another caller. This will be our last caller for now. Hello, good morning. Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Western North region. I'm Ofori Ama.
Okay, Ofori, you have 20 seconds. Tell us what you want to say on any of our conversations.
My conversation is that MPP says they are the best political party in Africa. But I want to tell them that they are the most wicked politicians and the party in the Africa. Because what they have done, especially wrong in this country. And I am telling my brother who spoke before I said, the Speaker of the Parliament is the best speaker you have ever had in this country, because the man has a wisdom, the man has integrity, and the man has a strong decision board. Because the man, I'm telling you, my sister, the man will be next president in this country.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's all. We'll open the phone lines later. You can have your say. But every day when we come on ABC in the morning, we'll give you the opportunity to have your say on the show. Give you the opportunity to also share your thoughts with us. However, don't forget that we'll be coming to your constituencies with Ghana Speaks. When you see us in your constituency, get closer to us and speak. Let us know what you think, and we will be glad to interact with you. That's all for our main discussion today on ABC in the morning. Let's take a break. We will be back.
Million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot.
Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing health care for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for...
We are currently here at Kanisu.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
2 to 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
You're still watching ABC in the morning. Let's head straight into politics today. Well, in politics today, this morning, we're looking at dynamics and political campaign strategies. dynamics in political campaign strategies. Let's look at how the political parties use different methods, such as holding rallies, door-to-door campaigns, distributing gifts to mobilize their supporters. Let's look at how all of these play in the votes that they get, play in getting people to go and vote for them. So the dynamics in political strategies. Our guest for today is Dr. Bernard Tutu Boahene. He is a political marketing analyst, and he will help us with this conversation. He will help us with this conversation on dynamics in political campaign strategies. And we're looking at the various methods: door-to-door rallies, door-to-door canvassing of votes, holding rallies, distributing gifts to mobilize voters during elections across Africa. It's not just in Ghana. But in Ghana, right from the return to democracy in the 1990s, there have been several strategies used by political parties to attract the attention of voters. The question is, which strategies works best? And which one has been amplified to get the desired outcome? What change has the emergence of social media brought to the political dispensation in Ghana? And so we at ABC News GH want to know the how and the what political party campaign strategy brings to the table as we gear towards the December 7 elections. Should we continue to hold on to the old strategies by sharing leaflets, pamphlets, roaming with sounds to campaign, or should we look at taking advantage, leveraging on newer strategies? Dr. Bernard Tutu Boahene is a political marketing analyst, and he joins us. Good morning, Doc. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Doc, we are close to the December polls. How will you assess the various strategies the political parties have adopted so far?
All right, so thank you. Good morning to you, your crew, and your listeners as well. I think that political campaigning, across the world, is taking a new turn. And what I mean is that it is gradually moving away from the traditional methods or strategies of campaigning, and then inculcating some level of modernization into campaign strategies. And so this time you see a lot more of social media activity, social media communications. We see policy being channeled through social media interfaces. Beyond that, campaign has equally moved away from mass rallies, to issues regarding, micro managing campaigns. And that is why sometimes we talk about door-to-door and personalized, campaigning. And so when you look at, the trend in Ghana, since 1992, you will see that gradually Ghana is equally moving away. And now, you see a lot more of social media activities, especially from the angles of the two major political parties and some key independent candidates. And so I think that, yes, there has been some developments. And going forward, some level of innovations would also have to be introduced into campaign strategies and all that, so that it is not just about, bringing people to the campaign grounds. It is not just about paraphernalia. It is not just about, putting up publicity materials and all that. But again, the individual contacts. Obviously you see that these days people don't really have so much time reading from billboards. People don't really have so much time even listening to adverts, and the mass media. But of course, it is about personalizing your campaign activities to be able to micromanage, specific constituencies and constituents. So if you pick a particular, voter, for instance, you could trace the person using some of these social media platforms, and then you tailor your messages and your campaigns and your policies, to fit into the needs of that specific constituent or voter. And when you're able to do that, and you are able to engage that individual, for instance, of course, yes, the person is likely to give you some level of attention, and it is possible that you can even sway the person, from where the person is entrenched, into your camp. So the dynamic these days is a bit complex, though flexible. Now, if you take a look at what is happening at the United States front, you would probably understand the direction to which we need to channel our campaign strategies. All right, look at the work being done by Kamala Harris. 3 days ago, Trump was on social media and was just pulling a lot of crowd, to himself. And obviously, you see that we are in the era of the Gen Zs, and these Gen Zs are basically, social media people. They are tech people, and so if you are just spending so much of your energies and your efforts, probably on face-to-face, and if you are not careful, you tend to lose so much. And that is why it is important that the political parties and political candidates, the political entrepreneurs, if they so desire to help their candidates to get to power, of course, they need to invest so much into social media and the internet world, to be able to develop an interface being managed very well, where some of these activities can be performed, so that you can actually macro-manage your campaign activities, without just throwing in every blow everywhere as if you get into the boxing ring without any form of strategy.
Dr. Titubuahene, how will you judge slogans, campaign songs, and statements made on campaign platforms? How will you judge their effectiveness in driving campaign in Ghana?
Slogans, to the best of my knowledge, is good. It's a way of positioning, a political brand, whether a candidate or a party, in the minds of people. Slogans, more or less, is able to probably help people to, create some level of awareness, and probably also develop some level of attachment, to a political brand. But I still believe that it has its own limitations. Specifically, sometimes if you are not able, to pick up a very good slogan, you'll be in trouble. So, for instance, if you pick the MPP, slogan some time ago, with regards to the Ishi Rado, we pick NDC, Emifa, meow, and we look at these two, the extent to which they communicate, the extent to which they are able to, attract, voters, especially the sympathizers, and probably, how do you call it, the swing voters, is something that, will make it carry more weight. As of now, research has not been done within these areas to know that, these are the effect of slogans on, voter drives. All right. But again, I still believe that, yes, it has that kind of emotional appeal, not really a rational appeal, but an emotional appeal that can, move people, emotionally. So if in the course of that movement, the people don't fall out into that zone of rationality, then, and they are able to sustain, the emotions, then of course it will have some positive effects. But the moment the emotions move away and it is replaced by rationality, then of course the emotive nature, of the slogan will be lost. Again, I think you asked about campaign songs.
Yes,
right?
I did.
Campaign songs, again, is emotive in nature. Few studies that I've conducted on campaign songs with regards to my graduate students, it gives me the indication that obviously campaign songs, does not have a total influence, with regards to decisions to vote for party A, party B, candidate A, candidate B, but it actually pull people, to probably a campaign ground, or pulls people towards a particular, candidate. So, for instance, if you are moving or probably driving or walking along a path, and then you hear, a rally being conducted, and probably it is a campaign song of a particular political party, and you feel that it sounds good into your ears, you probably may want to, emotionally, you probably may want to follow, what is happening there. Sometimes, if you don't really have anything doing or you don't have anywhere going, the song can probably drive you to the place. But then, it pulls you, and what it means is that the message that will be delivered, probably may do some conviction, or it will impart some level of conviction on you or otherwise. All right. So, what is important probably is that, campaign songs, just like any other advertising song, is also something that will attract you. It will gain your attention. Okay, probably try to elicit some level of interest or desire in you. But the action bit is where it is very important. If the emotions are not, sustained, probably the action will not be seen, or probably the action will not be in your favor. All right. So we cannot say that it is not important for political parties not to. I mean, we've seen some effects previously. To the best of my knowledge, prior to the 2000 election, the MPP's, campaign song, which was an adoption, for of a gospel music, Mubrohu Fweja, it did great for the MPP in the sense that the environment or the situation at that time was more of a redemption need, and the song fitted perfectly. It matched perfectly, to the situation at the time. And so people identified themselves with the song and identified themselves with the situation. All right. So we saw a massive, drift towards the side of the MPP. But since that, I have not seen any campaign song that is relevant to probably the challenges that people are facing, and a song that actually fits, the needs of the people to be able to elicit that kind of emotions and probably sustain the emotion till, election ends. Right. So if you want the campaign song to probably work for you, it is not just the one for entertainment. No, because the one for entertainment will just pull the crowd to your rallies. All right. Probably it will not sustain attention, But if you have a campaign song that is relevant to the realities and the needs of the voter and appeals to their emotions and appeals to their rational, sense as well, then of course it will come with a lot of meaning for you. So that is what I have to say on these things. The two slogan campaign songs, these are probably emotives, but we need to sustain them and then push them to that level of rationality, to be able to derive maximum benefits from them.
Dr. Boahene, in previous years, posters and billboards were the go-to. You'd pass here and then there are posters all over. You'd see billboards. We still see them in the median of the roads at very vantage points. But at the moment, we are in a very digitalized era where people in their cars, in public vehicles and all, have their heads down, reading on their phones. So it means that they are spending more time checking out what is on the phone rather than what is around them. Would you say that the political parties, especially the two main parties, have leveraged on digitalization to push their agenda, especially as we are getting into the elections?
So, as you rightly described it, yes, the advent of the social media and the internet is making some of these things more or less irrelevant, especially with Gen Zs, and the social media internet combination is so effective that now it is even rendering the offline mass media component a bit more useless. All right. Now you get to people's homes, you see that televisions are on, but you see every member within that family focusing his or her attention on the phone. And check, you see either TikTok, the person is either on Twitter, the person is either on Facebook, Instagram or something. All right. Now, the reason is that if someone is looking for entertainment, the television is not offering entertainment at that particular time. So the person is just moving, to the social media to check, to get some form of entertainment. If the person is looking for some information, probably the news item, being aired at that particular time is not giving the person that kind of information. So the person is now going to the social media, to look out for this information. And you see, the moment it happens that way, in marketing communication, we have something we call zip-zapping. All right. So the zip-zapping focuses on the informational needs of the person and the channel to which the person may want to focus attention on. And so these things have come up with regards to the internet communication and internet politics. And so what it means is that the investments that politicians, have been doing previously with regards to the offline channels, they should be able to push an equal measure, into the social media and probably develop it better, so that at least you will see, in 2008, Obama did extensively with social media campaigning that it gave him the vote that he needed and was able to pull the crowd. I see Kamala Harris, replicating the same thing, except that the difference between the Obama campaign and Kamala Harris's campaign is the fact that, Obama was much more articulate and was much more focused on the policies, and how the policies fit into each constituency. Critics have said that Kamala, though she's using the social media platforms very well, her defenses would U.S. policies and all that, it's not forthcoming. All right. And so what it means to our world is that, yes, social media is key. It's key, very, very important. And you see, personalization is very important. Even in traditional marketing, we don't now believe in mass marketing approaches. We believe in personalization, targeting individual customers, targeting individual voters, and then hitting them. And you can only get that not from radio. You can't get it from radio. You can't get it from television. You can only get this using social media platforms. Because social media platform is such that every individual has his or her own account, except in a group dynamic where you have social media groups, all right? But that represents constituency. So we need to probably, as it were, direct politicians to be able to focus more, so that you probably would identify difficult voters, and probably direct resources at them, and then convince them to swing to your side.
Look at constituencies. Should the political parties break down these constituencies 275 and determine that for these constituencies, this is how our targeted approach is going to be? We are going to make sure that we relate with this constituency in this way, we relate to this one in this way, so much so that they can reach them adequately for the message to sink the way they want it to sink.
Yes, exactly. You see, the complexities, is that, yes, you may have a constituency, maybe Ablekuma Central, all right? That is made up of individual people. It is made up of different groups and all that. So within Ablekuma Central, there are individuals. Now, my point is that if you are segregating, Ablekuma Central, for instance, you will know the different groups or group dynamics that play within Ablekuma Central. You will know individuals and their specific, needs when it comes to politics and the party they may want to vote for. Now, if you are able to do this diligence, what it means is that you target Aquili, for instance, and you know that Aquili lives in Ablekuma Central. She lives in this part of Ablekuma Central. Now, these are some of the personal needs that Aquili is having when it comes to voting. These are the expectations of Aquili concerning, her vote outcome. These are the expectations of Aquili concerning a particular candidate A or candidate B, or C, and so you'll be able to do that analysis from the perspective of Aquili. Then the next question is that how do I channel my message in such a way that the difficulties and the doubts that Aquili is going through, I can, probably offer some solutions, And so you begin to push, you begin to engage Aquili one-on-one through social media. If it is Facebook, if it is Twitter, if it is, Instagram, if it is about WhatsApp, you are pushing Aquili one-on-one, engaging her, to the point that even sometimes you even invite her to participate in your campaign activities within the constituency or elsewhere. All right. And so that is where we talk about, eliciting interest. So the moment you begin to engage her, ask questions, she comes forth with answers. She also can ask questions. You also come up with answers. You are generating interest from her. All right. Then she now moves from a certain disposition, moving towards your direction. If her disposition was that I hated you, I will not vote for you, that engagement can change that mindset and the person is not developing a totally new mindset about your candidature, all right, or probably your party. Now, when that happens, and the person now develops full awareness about you, the desire comes automatically. So that is why people now begin to probably say that this party, I used to belong to this party, I will not vote for this party again. I wish I would vote for that party and all that. You see, so when these things are sustained, then it moves into action. I mean, the intentions become a reality. So are the intentions of voting for you as a result of my social media engagement with you, my understanding of your policy now, my understanding of who your personality is as a candidate, what you can do, what you cannot do, your achievements, you know, as a politician, your professional achievements as a public servant, you know, and all that. Then, when these things are understood very well, you know, the person has no doubt that if I vote for you, or if I voted for you, you are able to deliver A, B, C, D to my satisfaction. And that ends the game. All right? That ends the game. In the U.S., they look for about 2 or 3 things. Your military experience, your professional experience, and your political experience. So these are things that they look out for. It is in this recent, you know, election that I've seen issues of personality, you know, coming up strongly. So these are things that obviously political parties should not lose sight of. Well, they shouldn't. I mean, when you go into a campaign ground, you cannot probably pick Dr. Bawumia and talk about his personality throughout the campaign. It is not possible because of limited time. Okay? Well, but social media, you can talk about Bawumia's personality and it will be there forever.
Right. Prof, and
you understand it?
Yes. Doc, in this final lap.
Please let me land. Okay. In the same way, if you pick candidates like John Mahama, you know, his profile as a professional, as a politician, you cannot put everything up during a campaign. Okay? If you pick Alan Tramatin or Cheddar, it's the same thing. What it means is that the social media gives you, you know, some leverage with regards to, you know, information storage. Okay, and it also gives you leverage with respect to time. You know, so these things are very important that the politicians should be able to invest massively in social media, because whether we like it or not, it has become a critical determinant, you know, in how to organize and then compete in an election.
And how to organize and compete in an election. We are in the final laps of all of these things before the elections. The politicians, flag bearers, their parties are galvanizing their base so that they can put in the last of their energies. Doc, which one strategy would you prescribe to them as they galvanize their base into this final lap?
I think that this election is one of policy and trustworthiness. By extension, it is about, you know, how you are able to probably, you know, engage. Now, this is what I see, you know, with some few data that I've collected, that 2024 is going to be determined by policy and the superiority of one's policy and how your personality is identified with regards to the fact that you are trustworthy to deliver your policy. All right. So if there is any strategy that any candidate will want to put up within this final lab, articulate your key policies very well. Once you articulate it, position your personality within the policy and communicate to the extent that people will see you as trustworthy, a deliverer, and somebody who can promise and deliver, not promise and fail.
Okay.
Now, if you channel your campaign message within policy, to let people understand who you are, your previous achievements, and the fact that you have never failed in your endeavor, and the fact that you will be able to deliver and not fail the good people of Ghana, it will be good for you. And most especially, let me add this, that there are key policies that are going to determine, 2024 election. And these things are known. The leading one has to do with the economy. They are known. In previous elections, they have determined it. But I think that this year, it is going to be very prominent. The economy is one. And if I talk about economy, the leading thing there in the leading factor with regards to the economy has to do with the standards of living.
Okay.
Standards of living, ability for people to buy and consume. Standards of living, ability for people to access medical care and pay their other bills. Very important. So if I talk about living standards, that is what I mean. Okay. All right. Employment.
Doc, due to time constraints, we'll end the conversation here, but we'll have more conversation on this, and we are grateful for your time this morning.
All right, sure.
Dr. Bernard Tutu-Buahene is a political marketing analyst. We're looking at dynamics in political campaign strategies as employed by the various political parties. Doc has given us a lot on this. For more information, you should visit our website because you would read more on that there. That is all for politics today. Up next is Happy Hour. Happy Hour, we wish your birthday, we give your birthday wishes, your well wishes, and every other wish that you want to send. So interact with us, and then we'll be glad to wish that loved one for you. But today is the birthday of renowned gospel musician Empress Gifty. It's her birthday. A happy birthday to Empress Gifty. She's released so many songs that are very great, very danceable, and on social media many people identify her with the tagline "Noko nice, Noko." She will add Noko to whatever she wants to talk about, and it's one of the things that has made her quite distinct on social media, the use of Noko with anything she writes. And happy birthday to Empress Gifty from your fan base. Since it's her birthday, let's enjoy some music from her.